a Chobot. Many Boffins died to bring you this trailer breakdown, and this is Nerdist News. It's here. The very first trailer for the very first Star Wars anthology spinoff has arrived, and it looks so f***ing cool! Rogue One, a Star Wars story, has been living in rumor town since it was announced way back in May of 2014, but now we can finally break this trailer apart frame by frame and deduce once and for all what was real, what might be real, what probably isn't real, and what was nothing but a bunch of bantha poodoo. So let's do this thing. Now, despite the fact that this will be the first Star Wars film John Williams doesn't score, the trailer opens with that familiar Skywalker theme, albeit darker and more foreboding than we've ever heard before. Will Rogue One composer Alexandre Desplat utilize the themes our ears have come to expect from a Star Wars flick? Or will he go off book? As Felicity Jones's character is marched through a rebel base by some classic Episode 4 era rebel bucketheads, we hear her interrogated by a higher-up. State your name for the record. Does this opening exchange sound familiar? Think back to the opening of Ocean's 11 when an off-camera voice asks Master Thief Danny Ocean the same thing, as Rogue One has been described as a heist film in the Star Wars universe and will also feature a roguish band of misfits. We don't think this is an accident. Either way, here we finally learn our new protagonist's name, Jyn Erso. Now, that is a Star Wars name. As we see more of this base, it's clear that this is the Masasi Temple on Yavin 4, where the rebels hid during A New Hope, complete with the war room and its glowing table and all those green-lined plexiglass screens. Great match, set designers. Hey, you know who grew up on Yavin 4? Poe Dameron, though we're not going to pretend that we think that Jyn is his mom, since the comics have already revealed that character to be Shara Bey. Oh, and also a gonk droid and an R4 unit. Yes, loving this original trilogy goofiness. Now, Jyn is questioned by Mon Mothma, who is played by the same actress from the Revenge of the Sith deleted scenes. We learn that Jyn has been on her own since she was 15. She's reckless, aggressive, and undisciplined, and happens to have committed a litany of anti-Imperial crimes, ranging from stealing Imperial documents to aggravated assault. If this is a job interview, it sounds like Jyn is uniquely suited to lead a suicide mission to steal the plans for the Death Star. And how about that look Jyn shoots Diego Luna's character, whom Making Star Wars has heard is named Cassian Willix. Have they met before? Do they have a history? Is Cassian the one who brought Jyn to the rebellion? And that bejeweled plate on his jacket isn't just goofy retro flair. That is a rebel rank insignia designating him as captain. Lurking in the shadowy background to Mon Mothma's right, please welcome General Dodonna. You may recognize the general as the old beardy dude who breaks down the Death Star assault plans for Luke and company in Episode 4. As Jyn fires back at Mon Mothma, asking, "This is a rebellion, isn't it?" we see just how tough she is, beating up a whole gang of stormtroopers on a Tatooine-like desert environment with some kind of a baton and blaster as Cassian appears to watch from the background. Oh, and see those big ol' robot limbs behind Jyn? That's almost definitely Alan Tudyk's mocap character, a reprogrammed Imperial droid. He pops up again towards the end of the trailer as well, in this shot of our heroes running down an Imperial-looking subway station. The fight is broken up by a big explosion, which seems to have been set off by this shadowy figure on a balcony above. The blast destroys the stormtroopers attacking Jyn and Cassian, but it also seems to take our heroes by surprise. Now, based on the bald spot we can see on this mysterious stranger, could it be one of the older confirmed cast members? Perhaps someone who doesn't appear in this trailer at all. I'm talking about Mads Mikkelsen, who's been rumored to be playing a character named Galen, an imprisoned scientist who helped develop the technology that created the Death Star, then had a change of heart that's caused him to try to defect to the rebel side. The very same rumors have pegged Galen as Jyn's father, though that'd be kind of odd since Jyn has allegedly been on her own since 15. Other rumors say her whole grudge against the Empire comes from them killing her parents. Is it possible that her father wasn't killed, but rather kidnapped, and we'll see some sort of "I am your father" reveal when Jyn finally meets him again face to face? Is that the dark secret behind why Jyn was chosen by the rebels for this mission despite being an uncontrollable firebrand? Well, that would certainly be pretty damn Star Warsy. Now moving on, we get a subtle shot that really sells Gareth Edwards' war movie aesthetic as Jin rides along in some kind of vehicle while looking through a dirty window. The shot is super evocative of a soldier riding through a bumpy desert landscape in a Humvee, and then the money shot, a pristine Star Destroyer riding past the mother Death Star. Oh my god. Like he did in Godzilla, Gareth Edwards nails the sense of scale here, making the Death Star feel as dauntingly huge as we know it to be. And watch as its eye gets lowered in, presumably finishing its construction after we saw it being built and eyeless at the end of episode 3. Way to nail that continuity, Lucasfilm! And as Jin accepts her mission to steal the Death Star plans, we kick into one hell of an action-packed montage scored to the Imperial klaxon we've heard before in the original trilogy. We see Jin and Cassian marching alongside rebel soldiers and pilots, our first look at Ben Mendelsohn as Rogue One's white-caped villain, and a whole bunch of different kinds of stormtroopers. I mean, like a billion. We've got hover tank troopers, those cool new special ops black-helmeted death troopers, desert troopers, classic troopers, more cool death troopers. Guys, this is a trooper movie. But back to that villain, his all-white look is super cool, and he's such a badass that he doesn't give a about dragging it through a puddle filled with dead corpses after whatever battle transpires on that Vietnam-esque planet. And thanks to Callus on Star Wars Rebels, the Imperial Security Bureau is canon again, so he could be a member of that. Whatever he is, he's almost certainly in charge of the Death Star's construction, and although we don't see him fight, I think it's a safe bet that he'll be a formidable foe. As the Imperial klaxon finally quiets down in the trailer, we hear a raspy voice ask, other than my own, "What will you do?" It's Forrest Whitaker's character, whom reports have pegged as a criminal whose body has been ravaged by war. Since he's walking with a cane and wearing some sort of respirator, I think it's a safe bet that those reports were spot on. Now, Whitaker continues with "when they catch you," as we see a rather grim image of rebel prisoners of war beaten and bloody and being led through some kind of a market. "What will you do when they break you?" he asks, as we see Jin, Cassian, and the Imperial droid racing through what looks to be the interior subway-like transportation system inside the Death Star itself. And what's that Jin's got in her hands? Looks like a MacGuffin. A Death Star plans MacGuffin. What I'm saying is, the Death Star plans are probably on whatever that is, and our heroes have to break into the Death Star to steal the Death Star plans and then escape from it. Classic heist movie third act. And then the most exciting image of the whole trailer for martial arts fans, as Donnie Yen, the star of the Ip Man franchise, woo! And one of cinema's greatest fight choreographers approaches a gaggle of stormtroopers before a downed X-Wing. Notice the fabric to the right of the frame that looks connected to the X-Wing. Our bet is that it's some sort of parachute. The stormtroopers are going after whoever is in the X-Wing, and Donnie Yen's character is about to defend the crashed pilot. We've heard that Yen's character is blind, which may be why these stormtroopers underestimate him before he wallops the ever-loving out of them with his staff. Bad ass. Now, the other robed figures in the background have similar red fabric. That has us speculating that they're from the same religious or warrior order that Donnie Yen is a part of. And back to that beach battle where Zhang Wen's character, supposedly a weapons expert, runs firing his blaster as our ragtag group of rebel heroes approaches something. Oh, is that a proto-AT-AT? The kind we saw debut in Star Wars Rebels Season 2, and it's shot on a Godzilla-like scale that lets us truly feel the terror of facing these walking tanks head-on. Also, guess this battle takes place after Jin grabs the Death Star plans because she's got a blaster in one hand and that little box thing in the other. And finally, a pair of cryptic shots we'd love to know more about. First, a mysterious black-cloaked figure kneeling before what looks to be a Bacta tank, similar to what Luke was healing in Empire Strikes Back. That's flanked by a pair of Imperial Royal Guards. Is the Emperor in this movie healing up in the tank, or perhaps Ben Mendelsohn's high-ranking Imperial villain sustained some injuries during the film that he needs to recover from? I mean, we did see a transporter explode in that beach battle scene, so maybe he was on board, or heck, maybe that's Vader in there. We know he'll be appearing in the film in some form, but who is that black-cloaked figure? Unless Mendelsohn has a variety of capes for different occasions, Our best bet would have to be Mads Mikkelsen's character coming to commune with one of our villainous leaders who's maybe caught wise to his flip-flopping ways. And finally, the last shot of the trailer as Forrest Whitaker asks, if you continue to fight, what will you become? We see Jyn in a TIE fighter flight uniform. Is this line meant to imply that she might turn to the dark side, or is she simply in Imperial disguise? We're guessing, in the grand Star Wars tradition, that it's the latter. But what's on her back? Is that a pair of some sort of batons that could lead to some sick fight scenes? Sick is right. Also, is that Darth Vader's breathing, or mine, we hear over the tail end of Forrest Whitaker's line?
What will you become?
It may well be, which would suit the lilting piano playing the Imperial March over Rogue One's title treatment. Could be that, or it's just Forrest's own breathing apparatus. Pretty cool either way. And that's everything, and I do mean everything that we caught. But what do you guys think? Are you pumped for Rogue One now? Did you catch anything that we might have missed? Who do you think is that black cloaked figure? Let's discuss. Kyle?
Yeah.
Favorite part of the trailer?
I like the ending where Jyn turns right to camera and you have that very 2001-esque shot. I love it. It's great.
Awesome. So what's happening up at Because Science today?
I'm figuring out why Darth Vader sounds like that. It's not exactly why you sound like this, but I think we have a pretty good answer, and it's fun.
Okay, cool. And hey guys, we've had a chance to see Hardcore Henry and can safely say that it is unlike any movie we have ever seen. Inspired by first-person shooters, Hardcore Henry puts you, the audience, in the driver's seat for a chaos-filled thrill ride that will more than likely make you sweat while watching it. So please wear deodorant to the theater because I didn't. So, just speaking from experience.
She stinks, and this movie looks great. Am I supposed to
Well,
still be in this shot?
It's not like
Am
I
I
can smell anything.
Am I still?
Yeah, just stay there. You're pretty.
Okay.
Nerdist editor-in-chief Rachel Hines said that Hardcore is like the raid in Kingsman. The Secret Service had a messed up baby. So if that appeals to you, and of course it does, then get your tickets for Hardcore Henry this weekend, which I can personally guarantee you is the craziest movie you will see all year.
I'm gonna go see it tomorrow. I'm so excited.
Sweet.
Sweet.